Hello everyone, hope we are doing well and looking forward to Anderlecht on Thursday. But today I would like to discuss Gianluca Scamacca. I say I would like to. I'm going to discuss Gianluca Scamacca. I can pick the topic, usually. But the reason I want to discuss him is because of his performance on Saturday, his performances so far, and me judging him. Because there is an element of, not surprise, an element of discovery between myself and Scamacca because I don't know that much about him. And that's getting less and less in modern football because of the access we have to other leagues and stuff. For example, I watch the Bundesliga every weekend. There'll be people watching this that watch other leagues every single weekend. So when West Ham sign a player from the French league or the Italian league, there'll be plenty of people that know a lot about that player. So there's no element of surprise anymore. That's been taken away. When the player arrives, you have expectation. You know what that player's about. But for myself with Scamacca, I'd only seen him a handful of times in an Italy shirt as well. I hadn't seen him play for Sassuolo bar once or twice briefly, and he hadn't really stood out. I didn't really remember him playing for Sassuolo. And even when he did play for Italy, again, he didn't stand out that much. So when we signed him, I was getting excited based off of hype, journalists, other West Ham fans commenting about how good he is. Also, the fact that the likes of PSG were interested in him as well. That means something to me. When a club like that with a blank checkbook wants a player, they're quite a good judge of player ability, PSG, these days, aren't they? So all that made me a little bit excited, but my expectation was still non-existent. And I was looking forward to going on this journey of discovery, if you like, about Scamacca. How good is he? Is he the answer to our striker issues? Is he going to score lots of goals for us? Is he going to be a success? What kind of striker is he? How is he going to fit in? Is he going to fit in? I had lots of questions that I was looking forward to getting answered. Now, some of them are starting to be answered, and there's a long way to go yet because the data is still a small example. He's only started 6 games for West Ham so far. We won all 6 games, but 4 of those came in European football, either the qualifiers for or in the Europa Conference League. Got 4 goals in all competitions in them 6 starts as well. And the 2 wins that came in the Premier League were against Aston Villa and Wolves, where at the time of playing them were definitely among the worst 2 or 3 sides within the Premier League. Leicester, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, when we played Villa, were the other candidates. But certainly we were playing the sort of weaker opposition of the Premier League. So you could argue it was easy games for Scamacca to look good in. But he himself can only perform with what's put in front of him. And out of the 6 games so far, I've been very, very impressed. But Saturday, I came away excited by what I had seen. I feel like I'm starting to get an idea on what the type of striker Gianluca Scamacca is, and I like it. And the way that he plays, his attitude, he's ticking a lot of boxes. Now, like I said, the jury's still out. I'm not sitting here saying he's a world-class striker, he's going to score 20 goals for us. I don't know yet. We need to see more in the Premier League. But I can only base it off what I've seen so far, and I'm liking it. And like I said, Saturday was a big reason as to why I came away purring about the performance of him and Jared Bowen. I thought that partnership was really, really productive and really, really impressive on Saturday against Wolves. But he was up against the easiest opponent he's going to get in the Premier League this season, Ruben Neves, or it should be the easiest opponent he's going to get. Someone smaller, weaker, not really a centre-back. He's had some experience playing there. And Scamacca bullied him for for as long as he was on the pitch, he bullied him. And that's what I would expect him to take advantage of playing against Ruben Neves. Now, it's not necessarily intelligent striker play, but what was pleasing to see was Scamacca positioning himself against Ruben Neves throughout the time he was on the pitch. Whenever there was a goal kick or a free kick deep inside our own half, he was next to Ruben. He was staying away from Kilman. He didn't go near him. He said, I'm just going to stand next to this guy. I'm going to bully this centre-back. And he did it. And it's such a basic thing. But how many times have we gone into games or we come out of games with the benefit of hindsight thinking, why are we not taking advantage of this? Now, this can be different. It could be a player playing out of position. It could be a player on a booking early doors and we didn't go near him for the rest of the game. There's something about the opposition where we come away thinking, well, there could have been something there for us to take advantage of and we've not done it. Well, Saturday there was something, which was Neves, centre-back. And Scamacca took full advantage, I thought. I thought his all-round play was fantastic. Something really positive. And it made me looking forward to more. Now, I'll talk about Scamacca in just a second. But the big telling difference for myself was, and this is a bit sad to say, was when Antonio came on, I felt like I noticed the difference between a striker and a striker. Does that make sense? Now, I've defended Antonio loads as the striker at West Ham, and I still will. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not writing him off. He's got a huge part to play, blah, blah, blah. But I felt that when Antonio came on, and I thought it was the right sub at the time, a lot of people don't think so, but I did. I thought Scamacca was starting to tire a little bit. Wolves' defence was starting to tire a bit. The game was opening up as Wolves was coming at us more and more. And that would allow us to play on the counter-attack even further. And that would suit Antonio coming up against a yellow-carded Ruben Neves at centre-back. That's prime Antonio territory, that is. So I thought the substitution was right. But there was a couple of occasions where Antonio got the ball and he made his way to the 18-yarder. He's cutting in, he's having his shots blocked. And I felt like I could notice a difference between Scamacca and Antonio as strikers. And I don't fault Antonio for that, by the way. It's worked wonders for us. And I could understand why he was perhaps a bit overly enthusiastic to get on the score sheet himself, given that he was replacing Scamacca, who had scored that goal. That applies pressure to Antonio. For the first time in a long time, in too long, he's now got serious competition for that shirt. Like I said, Saturday, yes, Moyes selected Scamacca over Antonio, but it was an easy one for Moyes, given that Antonio had his international duty with Jamaica later on in the week as well. But, you know, you've also got to give benefit to the manager. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, which is he started against Aston Villa, then he had a virus which kept him out when Antonio played. And to be fair, Antonio played well in that couple of weeks too. So it'll be interesting. We've now got two good strikers at the club. But in regards to Scamacca, actually, before I talk about him, this video is sponsored by Spitch. Now, I don't like Spitch at the minute. Well, I do. I don't like the fact that Gonzo's beating me. Gonzo, at the time of recording, Monday afternoon, is 4th on the Hammers Chat League. There's only 3 people that could beat, well, there's 3 people beating him ahead of the Nottingham Forest Leicester game later this evening. He's absolutely smashed me this week. He's got Haaland up front and captained him. It was an obvious one in hindsight. I mean, to be fair, I've done it on my fantasy Premier League, but not on my Spitch League. I didn't do that. I played it clever, got my fingers burnt. Gonzo's now 1-4-2. I don't like it. Now, the Spanish Fantasy Football app is free to download. It's free to sign up with lots of free to play games, including next weekend, where I need to start clawing back my goals, my points against Gonzo. It is a really good app though. Myself and Gonzo played it loads before we start promoting it. You can download it using the link in the description below. You can play all sorts of competitions, but we're focusing on the Premier League. We've got our Hammers Chat League over there as well, so if you do sign up, go to communities and search for Hammers Chat. It's branded up with our logo, myself and Gonzo on there as well. Make sure you join, and you join in every single week. You pick a different 11 for every single week. Unlimited transfers permanently on the Spitch app. But do get involved. It's free to download, it's free to sign up, and there's plenty free to play games as well. You've got nothing to lose. So have a little look, see your fancy, see how you get on, and please will somebody beat Gonzo this week. I'm praying he does not win that league, because I won't be able to take his gloating. Now, in regards to Scamacca, there was a few reservations from fans earlier on this season, which is he the next Sebastian Haller? Now, I say, don't put words in my mouth. I'm going to put words in their mouth, which is, when they say that, when they use that comparison, I don't think they're comparing player to player. I don't think they're saying he's going to be like Haller, he's going to trot around, he's not going to perform very well, he's going to score a handful of goals, and that's that. I don't think that's what they were suggesting. I think what they're suggesting is, are we going to have another Sebastian Haller situation, which is Scamacca perhaps doesn't get into the team, Moyes doesn't use him correctly, doesn't fit Moyes' style, doesn't play well, it's just a poor transfer, and we end up flogging him in the near future, usually for a loss, like we did with Sebastian Haller. That's what I think people meant when they said, is Scamacca the new Haller? Now, I always felt the jury was out a little bit too soon on that. You know, a handful of games into the season, I think it's far too early to be making a call on whether the manager likes a player or not. And actually, the evidence so far would suggest actually he likes Thilo Kerner, he likes Scamacca, he likes Cornet, he's liking Cornet. Emerson he's alright with. The only one so far that's not really getting the game time is Flynn Downs, and you could argue Areola, but his situation's continued from last season, so nothing's really changed there. But I don't think so. I don't think Scamacca is going to be the new Sebastian Haller in regards to the situation. And what I saw on Saturday, now this is going to sound wild, okay? I hope this makes sense. I felt that he was almost like a hybrid of Harry Kane and Marko Arnautovic, the way that he played, not ability, No words in my mouth. But in terms of the way he played, the aggression he showed, the hold-up play he showed, but also what I was surprised at is his creativity. Now, he wasn't pinging through balls left, right and centre and playing players in or anything. But the fact when he was winning it, he was bringing it down, he was laying it off really quick, but his passing was almost intelligent to some extent. He wasn't playing it safe. Sometimes he was playing it safe. It wasn't a bad thing to do. But there was other times where actually he was usually Jared Bowen. He was trying to play it out to him pretty quick, get Bowen on the move. And whenever Scamacca got it, Bowen was on the move and Scamacca was finding him. And I liked it a lot. And I thought, this is what we need. We need these little partnerships within the team, throughout the team, that we can build upon, that we can almost put these foundations in place a little bit. We saw a much improved Jared Bowen on Saturday afternoon. Is that because he was playing alongside Scamacca? Well, we saw him against Aston Villa and it wasn't the best Jared Bowen. But Bowen must have benefited. Bowen did benefit from playing with Scamacca. Every time he was on the move, he knew he had somebody good enough to find him, give the ball to his feet, put it in front of him, get him on the go one-on-one with a Wolves defender. And I'm looking forward to seeing that partnership continue, hopefully, against Fulham next Sunday. The question is, what does he do on the other side if Cornet's injured? I think, to me, there's an obvious answer, but I don't think it's the same one that David Moyes would supply, but we'll deal with that in the Fulham one. But the Scamacca's, I mean, first of all, his finish was absolutely fantastic, but it's just the instinct. He was earlier on in that game, he was offside when there was a long ball. Cornet flicked it on. Scamacca ran down very, very wide out left. He took one touch to control and hit it, and it went wide, but it wasn't far wide, and it was almost like a silly angle to be shooting from. But it was just the instinct of him as a striker, which is, I'm going to get this ball and I'm having to pop at that goal. It wasn't far wide. Now the flag went up, free kick to Wolves, so on and so forth. But I liked it. I thought, here we go. This is what we need. There was one time I was disappointed with him. Once. In the whole game, there was once I thought, don't like that. When we got the ball out right, I'm unsure who it was. I can't remember. It might have been Kerr. It was probably Bowen or Souček, funnily enough, but I don't think it was Kerr. It could have been, though. They were sort of one-on-one with the Wolves full-back, went down the right-hand side of the box, and they put it into the 6-yarder. A low ball into the 6-yarder, and it was easily cleared by the Wolves defence. There was nobody there. Now, when that player got the ball, Scamacca was on the edge of the 18-yarder. When that player went down the 18-yarder, Scamacca remained on the edge of the 18-yarder. When the ball came into the box, Scamacca was still on the edge of the box. And it's the only time I thought, nah, you've got to be doing better there. You've got to be getting into that box because there was nobody there. And Antonio would have. Antonio would have been running into that box to try and get on the end of it. But that will come. That is, when Moyes says about settling into the Premier League and stuff, I do think, well, surely the best way to do that is by playing them in the Premier League. But in regards to getting used to their teammates and settling into the team rather than the league, that is where I expect Scamacca not to do that again. The next time that player goes down the line, I expect Scamacca to be thinking, right, I need to move here because he will play it. He will put that ball in for me. That ball will be coming into the 6-yarder. I'm getting in there. And we saw it in the European game where he was lurking at the front post and he turned a half-decent ball from Souček into near the front post and scored from it. So I'm not worried as such. Like I said, it's just that one incident on Saturday that stopped it almost being a faultless performance for myself. But I thought his hold-up play was brilliant. I thought his aggression was really good. You know, when Neves and Kilman had a hold of him at times, and at times I think there was probably once or twice where the Wolves players just took it a little bit too far and it was probably verging on foul rather than just a physical battle between the two. But not once did he lose his composure or anything like that, which we saw against Wolves, let's face it, when he got his yellow card. That was an act of just utter frustration from him. He came on, we were playing poorly, bang, have that. Yellow card, silly yellow card, but you could tell we had pissed off Scamacca on our hands there. And I'm not against it. I don't mind players having a little bit of aggression about them, as long as they can contain it and not do anything silly to get sent off like Anatovic at Southampton when he elbowed the geezer in the face and got a red card early on. None of that stuff. But, like I said, in terms of his style, I thought there was a hybrid of Anatovic and sort of the aggression of Anatovic, the hold-up play of Anatovic, but that sort of creative style that Harry Kane brings to Tottenham, where he does drop a couple of yards and get on the ball and he's happy to release his wingers that's running in behind him. I felt that we saw that from Scamacca on Saturday, and I came away really impressed by what I saw from striker. Like I said, so far there's a lot of Yes, but with his performance, he's started 6 with 1-6. Yes, but it was only these teams. He scored 4 goals. Yeah, but it was only these. You can only say that for so long. You know, if he scores against Fulham, we're going to keep saying it. If he scores against Fulham and Bournemouth, does he have to score against sort of like a Liverpool or a Chelsea until we go away? We've got a good player in our hands here. I do think we have an excellent striker on our hands here, actually. Can Moyes get the best out of him again? I think so far, yes, we're seeing glimpses of it, but I also think we've seen glimpses of the answer being no. Everton away, for example, when he came on, he was completely ineffective. Was it down to tactics? Was it down to Scamacca? I don't know. I think it was down to everything, really. But there's also been some poor performances from Scamacca, or should I say, ineffective tactics for Scamacca at West Ham so far. Saturday, we start to see us play a bit better and to his strengths. We need to be doing that more, because if you get the best out of Scamacca, if you can set your attack up so that guy's getting chances, he will score goals. We've seen that. The goals he scored so far, he's only 4, they're all different. He scored one with his header, he scored a near post dart and run, he scored an absolute banger against Wolves on Saturday. It's different types of goals. That's his 5th goal from outside the box since the start of last season. And Gonzo's video earlier said Scamacca's going to hit it from distance once a game and it's going to frustrate us. Again, you just have to accept that. This is a guy that wants to score goals. When we got the penalty in the European game, he picked the ball up. He never got to take it in the end, but as soon as it was given, he picked the ball up under his arm as if to say, I'm having this. When we got that free kick outside the box against Wolves, again, he picked the ball up straight away and had it under his arm as if to say, I'm taking this. And Creswell came over, they had a little conversation, and Scamacca blazed over the bar. But there's a striker that's just oozing, I want to say confidence, but I feel arrogance. I feel like there's a bit of arrogance about him. And that's a good thing. I think you need to have that little chest puffed out, sort of peacock showing their feathers kind of attitude in the Premier League. And I think Scamacca's got that. So, yes, a video bigging up Gianluca Scamacca. But there's only 6 games that he started so far. We need to see more. However, Saturday was the first time I came away from a game thinking, I really enjoyed what I've just seen from that striker tonight, actually. And a bit more of that partnership with Jared Bowen, which the partnership between Paqueta and Scamacca at the minute is non-existent. To my memory, I don't remember seeing anything between them that I thought, ooh, I enjoyed that. That will hopefully come. The one between Cornet and Scamacca was there in glimpses early on before Cornet got withdrawn. But we've seen that in European football as well. We've seen that link up between Scamacca and Cornet in some of the Thursday night games that we've had so far. I think it was away to Viborg, I want to say, that I remember seeing it with Ben Rama. Them 3 were sort of the attacking trio. And I liked that link-up play. So if we can get Paqueta involved with them a little bit more, yeah, we've got a good striker on our hands. It's just like I said, can we keep getting the best out of him? Can we get better out of Scamacca? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I hope so. Because Saturday, I really, really enjoyed that performance in Scamacca, and what a fantastic goal. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to Hammer's Chat. We'll be back tomorrow night with our Anderlecht preview where, spoiler, I don't want to see Scamacca start. I'd rather save him for the Fulham game. Catch you in a bit.